Kurt Cobain died. The famous O.J. Simpson Bronco chase happened. Nancy Kerrigan and Tanya Harding. Nixon died. The Northridge earthquake here in California. NASA loses contact with Magellan. The Whitewater investigation begins in Congress. There was a bombing in New York. George Papard died. He's the guy from the A-Team. I think we read that it was like the unofficial start of the 24-hour news cycle, probably because of the O.J. Simpson chase. What's cool about this week is this song was written with the band Grand Canyon, and it was part of the Gimme a Minute project, and it was sung by Casey from Grand Canyon. I sang on it too, but I sang the backing vocal and he sang the lead vocal. If you haven't heard Grand Canyon, he has the best voice in the world. It's just a fact. In our version here at Song Lab, I'm doing both. I really wanted to do the song, but I was trying to figure out like how I can not touch the minute and have the minute just be its own beautiful thing and bring this into another, hopefully, beautiful thing by itself. So I decided to go sort of like acoustic electronic hybrid. So I brought in Matt Brundrett to play percussion and drum set. I did synth bass, and I dropped the key down. And also on the lead line, I used a Logic synth called the ESM, kind of like a Moog sort of Korg synth. And I'm delighted with the result. I think you will be too. Let's check it out. Drum kit courtesy of Matt Brundrett. Kind of your standard kit groove until we get to the conga drums. Here's a timpani sample. This is a Logic sample called Orchestra FX. Here's an effect that Matt made with just kind of wisping the back of a brush across a ride cymbal. Putting all that together, here's what the drums sound like. Here's my bass. It's called a deep round synth bass because it's a deep round synth bass, punctuated by a fake jazz bass, both from the Alchemy plugin in Logic. That's the synth bass. Here's the jazz bass added in. Guitars. Guild M20, Gibson Hummingbird. Telecaster with a long delay that I just printed. And here's the Telecaster on the chorus. Wurlitzer keyboard. The lead instrument from the ES2 in Logic. And then the two vocals, parallel harmonies, these very tight kind of fourths and thirds and some fifths.
It was late October at Eisenhower High. Leaves.
Makes you do this.
It was late October at Eisenhower High.
But it works.
Leaves were falling and her hair was dyed. As much as I tried, I couldn't catch her eye. It was the fall of '94. So I sat in.
I did want to show the ESM synth part. So here's this. I've got the mix all the way down, I've got resonance down, and I've got cutoff, I don't know, what's that, about 10 o'clock with overdrive all the way down, and that kind of gives me the desired sort of Moog sound that you can get on this thing. The one thing worth pointing out here is not actually the synth itself, but how I use the drawing pin to sort of pinpoint where I want the rise in the note to be. So I'm using the pitch bend on the keyboard, which is this green line down here. I'll actually go in later afterwards and I can kind of move this around, for example. Let's just pretend I did that, which would be a terrible idea. So you can just manipulate this any way you want. I'll just do some crazy stuff here. And it's sort of fun. So I'd encourage you to sort of take the dive into your MIDI information and see what you can come up with. There's, you can use this for your sustain pedal, you can use it for your pitch bend, whatever. But this is one of the things that's very powerful in Logic, is the ability to edit MIDI this quickly. Not listen to this when I was producing the new version, but as discussed, I wanted to make sure that I did a totally new thing, because I knew that this was its own gorgeous piece of music. Here are the guitars together. I'll include the lead. Acoustic guitars are playing the lead bit. I think we get to the chorus that the bass appears. Really high filtered guitars for the chorus.
Like so many times before, I tried. Late October at Eisenhower High.
If I could sing that high, I would keep it in this key, just because that tight interval is, I think it sounds a little bit better in this record.
As much as I tried, I couldn't catch her eye. It was the fall of '94.
So yeah, I've got kind of two produced versions of the same song that are extraordinarily different, and very happy to have seen this come sort of
94. There I was at your front door, like so many times